now, more of the Mo You Know. Suitcases have been around for hundreds of years. What 1970 innovation reinvented the suitcase? Was it A, a plastic shell, B, wheels, or C, zippers? Scratch your head during the break and we'll be right back with the answer. A few moments ago, we asked, what 1970 innovation reinvented the suitcase? If you said wheels, you are correct. This, of course, was one of the most obvious inventions of all time. But you and I didn't think of it. It was Bernard D. Sadow, who came up with the idea while lugging his suitcase through an airport. When he got home, he put casters on it, added a strap to pull it with, and got a patent for his rolling luggage. That's the Mo You Know.
Show of hands out there. How many of you have pets? Dogs, cats? My quick count says it's over 100 million of you, and I'm not even counting the ferret owners. No matter what kind of critter calls your home their home, technology has changed the way we care for and possibly annoy our furry friends. Here's Adam Yamaguchi. If you don't come over here, I can't feed you.
Let's admit it. If we could, we'd probably hang out with our pets all day long. They're our buddies, fun and playful, loving and loyal. Some people may think pets and technology don't belong together. Well, guess what? Animal lovers in the tech world have decided it's time to let technology bring us closer to our pets. And as you just heard, in the US alone, that's a lot of pets. And there are quite a few pet-related innovations coming out, so we decided to take a closer look. For starters, sometimes we need technology to be utilitarian, to just help us out. 20-year-old Grant Hamill's idea came to him out of need.
I was in high school, and I was at my kitchen table doing some homework, and we have this very small, cute little dog who loves to play fetch all the time. And I love to play fetch, but there are also some times in my day where I can't and I have to stop playing. Our little dog never wants to stop, so I thought we could maybe make him something that he could play with once we were done.
Enter iFetch. It's a device you train your dog to put the ball into, and then the ball will shoot out the side. Automatic fetch. Building that idea into a reality ended up being a family affair.
My grandfather and I took apart a little Hot Wheels set, and we used the motors from that to kind of create our first little working prototype. It also strengthens the bond between the owner and the pet. Because you're teaching it something new, and you can see on the dog's face that they're very excited to see how this new thing works.
Cool, right? Next, I stopped to talk to the folks at Whistle, where I met innovator Ben Jacobs. Ben and the dog-friendly staff here have come up with a device that attaches to your dog's collar and transmits doggy data back to you through a mobile app on your phone. You probably know about those devices people wear to monitor their own physical activity and sleep patterns. Yup, now there's a canine version too. In other words, it can measure resting, walking, playing, and overall activity patterns of your dog. Activity patterns that you can keep track of.
To date, there hasn't really been smarts in this industry. We love our animals, and yet we have no way to know what's going on with those pets every day. So our goal with Whistle is really to give a voice to these pets, to enable owners to have information at their fingertips to take better care of that dog.
Some pet technologies can help us be directly engaged with our pets, even when we're away from them. With a device called Petsy Connect, you can still interact with your pet when you are on the go and your pet is at home. You can speak to your dog, photograph your dog, and even reward your dog with a treat, all remotely from your smartphone. So instead of technology creating a divide, now it can shorten the distance between people and pets, not only making our bond better, but allowing our furry friends to walk a little prouder and live a little healthier and happier.
Coming up, 3D glasses that even I can make. That's ahead.
You don't think about it much, but air is really pretty useful. Of course, there's the whole breathing thing. That would be a challenge without air. We can fly through air. There's the air guitar. And now, air can be a canvas. That's right, you can air doodle.
Level with me. When you're supposed to be listening to someone, do you ever reach for a pen and paper and become a faux Van Gogh? I hate to tell you this, but you're a doodler. Doodling may help you to focus. Some doodlers even find the practice meditative. Doodling is a two-dimensional task. That is, until Maxwell Bogue and Peter Dilworth of Wobbleworks in Boston came up with a device for doodling in 3 dimensions, the 3-doodler pen. We talked with Maxwell Bogue from our home base at the Henry Ford in Dearborn, Michigan.
How did you get this project started?
Our 3D printer that we were using to create robotic children's toys messed up, and it missed a layer in its print. You know, printers, they print layer by layer, and it missed just that one layer, and then it kept on printing, and it was an 8-hour print, and my partner was very annoyed, and he's like, I wish you could just take the extruder head off of the 3D printer and fill in that one spot and like put it back. He's like, why can't we do that? And we were both like, we can do that. I'm gonna have the very first version right here, and as you can see, it is very far from what we would call the first 3-doodle.
The pen plugs into the wall, heats up. The colorful plastic sticks melt into whatever shapes you decide. Based on the outrageous success of their crowdfunding campaign, Bogue and Dilworth saw doodlers of the world unite. From abstract shapes to tracing lines on paper, the pen gives the novice or artist more room to create. Creations can be pretty elaborate. Well, of course, I had to give it a whirl, so I channeled my inner designer.
I've actually used the 3-doodler, and I want to show you my first work of art. They're 3-doodler glasses.
Pretty good, actually. Very first try, that is actually a very good 3-doodle. I like that you stylized your glasses.
Not bad for my first foray into doodling's 3rd dimension. Coming up, you didn't think you'd get away without a quiz, did you? Vocabulary is next.
Welcome back, everyone. This is vocabulary. We all know that some words can be confusing, but if we toss them around on Innovation Nation, it's my job to make it crystal clear that you know what the heck we're talking about. Hence, vocabulary. In Adam Yamaguchi's story on pet tech, he said,
For starters, sometimes we need technology to be utilitarian, to just help us out.
Now, utilitarian is an adjective. It means something is made to be useful rather than decorative or comfortable. So, ball, machine, toss, and repeat could cause a lot of tail wagging in your home. In Mo's story about the 3D pen, he talked about objects being 2- and 3-dimensional. But do you know what that really means? Well, 2-dimensional means a shape only has, of course, 2 of the dimensions, such as width and height, but no thickness. A square or a triangle are 2-dimensional. Now, you hear about 3D all the time, and it's when you add the 3rd dimension of depth, like if that square became a cube. Our bodies, for example, are 3-dimensional. Now, 1-dimensional would just be a line, or something really boring. Now, go use those words. If you do, no one will ever call you 1-dimensional, ever. And that is your vocabulary for the day. I'm Allie Ward.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Mo Rocca, and we'll see you next time on the Henry Ford's Innovation Nation.